Well, today we are looking at the Hygger planted 24/7 aquarium clip-on lights. I've looked at a lot of Hygger lights in the past, and this one has got a very interesting feature that I want to show you. We can see it's actually a clip-on light rather than one that goes completely over your aquarium. And that's because this model is one of the smallest that Hygger do. We can see it's 14 watts, RGB actinic, which is great because it means I can put it over corals, or you could put it over corals should you wish to. 817 lumens, so it's not saying it's the brightest light on the block, but we'll have a look at that in a second. And then a size guide for which tank you should use it for. Full spectrum, high bright, adjustable colour, unique lighting blend, and so on and so forth. And we can see just how tiny this light is, and it's quite cute. I haven't got many nano aquarium lights, so this one was pretty attractive to me. And actually, the feature that I want to show off on this is all to do with this rail here. You can see there's a rail that goes along the bottom of it, just here, and along the side of it, just here. I'll show you what that does in a minute. But let's look at the light itself. We have got metal, it's going to be aluminium. I'm going to annoy everybody now by scratching it, just to check. Yep, definitely aluminium. Nicely branded, and also we've got it nicely treated here, so it's not just bare metal. Underneath we have what I come to expect now from LED lights. Lights with the chips and the board siliconed in, and what that means is it's protected from water damage. So sometimes you might accidentally drop this in the aquarium, you might actually get condensation if it's below a lid, so on and so forth. There's loads of ways that your LED lights can actually get water on them. I mean, it's on an aquarium, isn't it? And this particular light has got it all siliconed in to protect the board from any water ingress. I love it. And on top of that, we've got a perspex, acrylic or something cover just to stop from any splashing. Allows you to give it a clean as well. So already I think this looks pretty decent. We've got nice branding, we've got a nice finish to the metal. The LEDs are high quality as far as I can tell. Hygger themselves do market this as having high quality LEDs. We also can say that the spectra here is suitable for plants because, having looked at the spectra, we've got the correct peaks in the red and blue spectrum for chlorophyll activation. Also in the box we have our plug. Now I'm in the UK, so I get a UK plug, but I'm assuming other countries will get their relevant plugs. We have our mounting bracket. This is plastic. It does feel solid, but doesn't feel particularly high quality, I've got to admit. It's a little bit bumper plastic, but it does the job, I would have thought. And here we have some screws. Now these are actually quite stiff to screw, but they are screwing in, and we can see the rim glass here that this supports is pretty thick. I'd say that's about an inch, or just slightly under an inch as to the thickness of the glass. So I doubt you're going to be putting a small light like this on such a thick tank anyway, so you shouldn't need to worry about where you mount this. And we have a manual as well, which I will not be reading. So I thought we'd try this light out on this little 30cm cube tank I've got. It does look like it's approximately the right size for it. Currently there's a little AQUEON LED light on there, which is doing a fine job on this tank, and we'll just see if this is any brighter or looks any better over this tank. So here it is mounted. Actually, that looks gorgeous. I don't think it's any dimmer than the AQUEON light, and if anything, I think it's making the MACROALGAE look a little bit redder because it's more of a natural plant spectrum. We can see the LEDs up there. It does look very nice, doesn't it? I'm very happy with that. So this is the control unit. It does have a few different features. The first one is a timer. So in this controller, it has a daytime schedule. So it'll have a sunrise, a daytime, and a sunset. When you press this button, whatever time you press it, it will go through that for that duration. I hope that makes sense. We've got our on button and our off button. This allows us to make the brightness up or down. And then here, we've got another time. So this is a 24/7 mode. You basically tell it that it's 8 in the morning or 10 in the morning or whatever, and it will carry on that daytime schedule that I've mentioned from whatever time you've told it that it is. I hope that makes sense. But moving away from the controller, I want to show you the nifty feature that I mentioned at the start. So as you can see at the moment, we're mounted back to front. However, this rail allows us to mount this in a different orientation. So here we can see the rail in action. Obviously it has got a bit of bite to it, because you don't want it slipping and sliding all over the place. What it allows you to do is mount it sideways, which I think is quite neat. Now obviously I'm doing this one-handed, so I'm not making it look easy, but you can see here, if you want it on a long tank, you have that ability, and you can either mount it on the end to go along the tank, or you can mount it on the back to go over the tank. So it kind of gives you that ability to modify your light depending on how you want your aquascape to be, and I think that's a really neat little feature. Another reason you might want to do this as well is, of course, now we're only getting light to the back of the tank. So if we didn't want our plants growing at the front of the tank, we can limit the light source to be at the back. Imagine that's the back, obviously for me it's the side. Or if you wanted the plants growing throughout the entire tank, you have it the other way round, where it's reaching all the way into the tank. So you can actually manage the depth and availability of light to your aquarium. So in terms of what this light actually is, it seems to be a reasonably high quality LED. We've got that waterproofing ability that I've shown you. We can see the light output is pretty nice. It's not the brightest LED, but it's certainly illuminating this nano tank as well as the other light that I had on here, the AQUEON. And the colour saturation is definitely more freshwater orientated, which is fine for my macroalgae and will be fine for your aquarium plants. We've got the ability, which I really like, as you might have noticed, to orient the light in two different ways, which is really cool. And the mounting bracket is doing a fine job in holding the light where it should be. We have got a timer on here, so we can just plug it in, set the time and forget it. And there's ample cable length to reach to a plug wherever it may be. So overall, a decent little nano aquarium LED.